the way that you lived justified the end. It's like you can go to your death with your conscience clear. And Socrates knew that, and he realized that was the most important thing for him. And I think there's truth in that concept, and you can denigrate it casually. You could rationally criticize it, but I would ask then what the alternative would be. What do you want to end your life with having failed to live up to who you could be? And that's something that gets me up in the morning.
Yeah. I mean, it's like death is a natural reality. It's like everyone's going to die at some point anyway. So it's like, if anything, like what you can do and hold on to is deciding the life that you're going to live before you die and who you are. And like, that's what's really important, not the fact that you're going to die. One of the Greek phrases that I really like is memento mori. And it's used a lot in Stoicism, which means remember you must die. And it's like a good reminder of like day-to-day life. Like, okay, I don't know when this is going to be that I'm going to die. Every action and every thought and thing that I do, it counts towards something, something that I think is valuable in who I am and the good or meaning that I put out into the world. And it's also a reminder that, okay, I'm not dead this current moment. So let's go do something.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I was listening to a podcast with Jordan Peterson, Jonathan Haidt, and Steven Pinker. Quite the combination. Steven Pinker is a relatively famous atheist, and Jonathan Haidt isn't exactly your classic theist. So it's an interesting conversation between them all. And Jordan Peterson, I wouldn't even try and classify him. But one thing that Peterson said, which I thought was insightful, was he said that when talking about death and the end of life, he said is a symphony not worth living? Gosh, I butchered that. Is a symphony not worth listening to simply because it ends? Like, does that mean that you shouldn't even listen to it at all? And it's the same idea here. It's like life has no meaning because it ends. It's like,
I think that's backwards.
I think it's wrong. I think life has meaning because it ends.
Yes.
And this is something that people don't like. Don't get me wrong. It's a harsh reality. I mean, I'm not trying to.
For sure.
I'm not trying to casually dismiss the harshness of the world that we live in, but it's like, think about it this way. This has been useful for me, is that when you think about the primary aspects of God, three omnis, he's all knowing, he's all powerful, and he can be anywhere at once. That, this totality that this concept of God comes with, I suppose. What does a being like that lack? Well, a being like that lacks limitation. They literally aren't limited in any capacity. But we are. And with limitation comes all sorts of different insane possibilities. I think about it like the game of chess. What would the game of chess be like if pawns were as powerful as queens? That would kind of defeat the game. It's crazy how we impose these what seemingly are arbitrary limitations on a game like chess, and the number of possibilities just exponentially increases. And it's an interesting way to look at life, because we think, man, how can we generate meaning in life given the fact that it ends? And it's like, maybe the meaning is found in the fact that it ends. Yeah. And it's a tricky concept, and again, that doesn't mean that when a loved one is dying from cancer, it's going to be particularly consoling. But it's a hell of a lot better than life has no meaning at all.
Right.
So it's something that I've thought about a lot, and I think that's I think it's very true. So, what do you think about that?
I would agree. I think that it is a lot better than life not having meaning. Death is not an easy thing, but I do think that it shouldn't really be viewed as a bad thing. I think that a lot of natural things aren't really bad things. Like if we did live forever, um, that seems like we would start losing purpose and meaning, and yeah, life would be drastically different if that were the case. Um,
It would cease to be life in
yeah,
some sense.
in some sense.
Yeah, these are in some sense the fundamental religious questions. How should you live? Why does life have meaning? These are the questions that I'm always interested in. Always interested in. So it's that religious instinct.